Okay. Hi. Good evening and welcome to 10 in 10 LinkedIn live chat sessions with storytellers of the soon to be published book from Thrive with Mentoring. I'm Lalita Vaidyanath, co editor of the book, and I'm very happy to be here having my first conversation with Michelle Conway, one of our very inspiring storytellers. Great to have you here as our first guest in this series, Michelle.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Your story was really inspiring. You've been through so many challenges and come out on top shining. Really wonderful story. Would you like to share something about yourself before we get into the queries about your book around your story?
Yeah, thanks. Um, so I am a wife, a mum of two children, and I am now working as a freelance consultant, working within an area that I feel really passionate about, and that's supporting organisations to improve access to specialist care and treatment for people living with rare conditions.
Wow,
And yeah, I'm loving it.
wow, that's great. That takes a whole different mindset, Michelle, to get into something like this. It takes a whole lot of compassion, also, I think.
Yeah, I think, it's something like everybody who works with people or works with organizations who are there to support people with rare conditions all say the same thing. Once you've worked with rare conditions, you don't want to go and work anywhere else because it's such a rewarding area to work in. So, yeah, and it's so fascinating. And there is so much that we can do to support people because there's still so much needs to be done.
Right. Okay, Michelle. So are we good to go with the queries?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so to all those who are watching us, watching the show, we are basically going to be finding out more about Michelle, about her story, about her as an individual and as a thriver. So these questions are going to be in a kind of a rapid fire format to some extent, and Michelle is going to be having a good shot at this. Yeah. So
Yep.
yeah. So let's get started. One word to summarize your story, Michelle.
Um, I think reality. I feel like it's a reality for a lot of women out there. So I think my story is reality.
Great. Okay. I think it's also about resilience. I mean, that's my personal take on your story. You've showed so much courage in your entire journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, what motivated you to write the story, Michelle?
I think just probably the recognition that it is really difficult as a working mum to try and have it all. And I think we put so much pressure on ourselves. And perhaps I didn't realize that until I became a mentee with Thrive. And actually, I think it's really good for other women to see that we do put too much pressure on ourselves and we do strive for perfection. And that makes it really difficult for us to have it all. And so I just felt like it was really good to share with other people to let them see that A, they're not alone, but to also make people really follow their dreams and do what makes them feel happy. I think that's the important thing.
You're right. You're right about the aspiring for perfection. We've kind of painted ourselves into that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel about seeing your story in print and in a bookstore? Is your family excited about that, and are you excited about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably apprehensive, but quite proud as well. Quite nervous to see, my name out there, but I feel really proud that I've been able to share this story, and that maybe just if one other person, reads it and realizes that they could get support, it will make a difference. So yeah, I guess humbled as well.
That's great. That's wonderful. And what do you think is the best part of your story, Michelle?
I was reflecting on this, and I think that perhaps the best part of my story is when I was reflecting back towards the end of the story and realizing how much I've grown since that first mentoring meeting. And I think how much I've grown professionally, personally, and just how much happier I am as a person. So I think it was really nice to reflect on that.
Great. So I've got a little, you know, surprise here. This shows my reaction to what you said. I've got some emojis.
Thank you.
This is to all the viewers out there. This is the reaction. This is what I feel, and I'm sure all of you feel the same about what Michelle has shared with us. Yeah. Um, let's find out a little more about yourself, Michelle. One word to describe yourself.
You know, I was thinking about this and I was thinking my family could probably use a lot of words. But I think probably tenacious. I would say tenacious is probably a good way to describe me.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that comes through in your story, I must say. When I was editing it, that's what I was referring to. There is art. Tenacity definitely comes through in that. So, would you say that that is your superpower?
You know what? I'm not sure. I think perhaps one of my superpowers is the ability to read a room or read a situation and bring empathy to that situation. I think I have a really good ability of networking and connecting with people, and I think that's probably my superpower.
Great. Okay, so that deserves a. Okay. That's a round of applause to you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay. And would you, are you, do you read books? I mean, right now you've written a story. So do you read
Yeah,
books?
I do. I enjoy reading. I'm a member of a local book group where I live, and I
Oh,
do
great.
enjoy reading. I think, you know, I've got a varied genre of books that I enjoy reading. Probably one of my sort of favourite books, and it's a childhood book, and I love now that I'm reading it to my children, was The Faraway Tree. That was my favourite
Oh,
book growing up. So
right.
that's a book that I've loved and I'm loving reading again to my children.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a lovely book. Yeah. So we've got a kind of a bit of a picture about you and your story. Just moving on to another segment, we'd like to, this is more about Thrive. What, in your opinion, does Thrive stand for, Michelle?
So I think Thrive for me is all about bringing women together to realize their superpowers and to achieve their ambitions. I think that women supporting women to be the best version of themselves is what Thrive is all about.
Yep. I think we all agree with that. Yes, another of us. Yeah. And so, if you were to mentor your younger self, what would your message be?
So I definitely think that something I would do differently is to accept help when help is offered, to try not to be the perfect mum, the perfect wife, the perfect employee. So to take help where it's offered, and probably to seek more help to make things easier for myself. You know, I look back on my earlier career at the time when I was really frustrated and wasn't achieving my ambitions because I was holding myself back. And a lot of the time that was because I wanted to be seen, to be there for my children, and to always be the person there. And so I didn't have a formal childcare network. I didn't rely on someone to come and help me with the day-to-day things. And actually, I think if I'd done that, life would have been so much easier. But also, I think that kind of not being a perfectionist and to accept that things can be good enough. I think that would
Right.
have made a big difference to me as well.
Yeah, like they say, it's okay to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, sometimes I think, I definitely recognize now that women put far more pressure on themselves than men do, to be perfect at everything, because I think there's a societal pressure on women to be there as a mum, to be there as a wife, and you know to 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 be that person that's all encompassing, and it is really difficult to do all of those things without adequate support. So yeah, I think definitely it's okay to just be okay, and you can be good enough. You don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think this is something that's going to be resonating with a lot of us here, a lot of our viewers, and a lot of people who are probably going to be watching this replay. All of us are with you on this, Michelle. That it's okay to be okay. That's a message I think we need to share with more and more women,
Yeah,
because we do tend to strive for perfection in the tiniest of things, and we look for constant validation. That is something that I feel that we constantly look for validation. uh,
yeah.
Whereas, well, not that we're not here on a male bashing thing, but
No,
yeah,
not
but
at all.
men don't men don't do that,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think they're supremely confident about themselves. Maybe that's something that we can also learn to pick up, and not strive for everything to be perfect. Yeah. So, what drew you to Thrive, Michelle?
So I think, I was probably a little bit lost at the time when I first was introduced to Thrive. But I liked the idea of having the opportunity to connect with other women who'd had similar experiences as me, and who'd perhaps come through them, and who'd gone on to follow their ambitions and to do the things that they loved and enjoyed. And so I think it was just that opportunity to connect with someone who could support me on my journey of the next step as I launched my freelance business.
Right. And I think the fact that your mentor gave you this uh, terrific advice, where she asked you to focus on your master's degree, come what may. I
Yeah.
think that really helped you. You mentioned that in your story. Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, like I set out on the journey with Thrive. I think I wrote in the story that I set out as if I was going to have an end of year appraisal with a manager, and I had this big list of objectives that I was going to try and achieve in my 6 month mentoring journey. And my mentor, Elise, very quickly picked up on the fact that, again, I was trying to do too much, and that I was, putting too much pressure on myself. And she stripped it all back, and just got me to focus on delivering my master's, and not to not to be self-critical about the fact that that's the thing I was focusing on, which was fantastic. So I think that was one sort of turning point for me. Another one was when Elise got me to do the sort of perfect day work, and it was to really describe what would my perfect day be, what would I be doing, where would I be working, what type of work would I be doing, and how would I feel. And that really made a big difference to me, because I think that's pretty much what I do now with the job that I have. I no longer have a Sunday night dread when I know I'm working on a Monday, and I don't feel like work's a drag. I love what I do. So yeah, I think that was really insightful.
Yeah, that's great. So, the power of mentoring, I think that takes us to the power of mentoring. It's something that I think all of us should, recommend to the younger crop of women in their career paths. Mentoring is something that will really guide them and show them the way. And yeah, I think we're almost done with the questions here. What else would So, just one last question. What did you feel or go through when you were writing your story, Michelle?
Um, so I think, you know, it was probably quite cathartic to reflect on how much pressure I had been putting myself under, the the detriment that being a perfectionist had put on me. And you know, I think it was quite a sense of achievement to see how far I'd come by the end of the story, and to realize that, you know, I am a determined person and I can do whatever I put my mind to. And I think, you know, that's something that is far stronger than the negative chat that we sometimes give ourselves when we think we can't achieve something.
Right. That's great. So there was a huge learning in that experience of yours when you wrote the story. I guess you
Yeah,
discovered some parts of
definitely.
yourself too, right?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
Okay, that great. It was great talking to you, Michelle, and I'm sure all our viewers also have got a good glimpse into what they can expect when they read your story. If there's something else that you would like to say from your side, it would be great as we can wrap up this. I just have a small message from my side before that. One is that uh, to everyone who's watching, you could pre order your copy of the book that we are going to be publishing and receive it during the annual awards ceremony, which is on 10th of June. And there's a bonanza here. If you buy the annual awards tickets at full price, you're going to get two books complimentary. So yeah, so that's a bit of a good news there. And apart from that, it'll be great if you can share this message about the book to in your network, to your friends and family, because we are looking to raise funds for this book. And if you can, all of you can support us in by being part of this initiative, it would be really good. It would really help, and it would help to put that book on the bookshelf at the bookstore. Yes, so that wraps it up from our side. Michelle, if you'd like to say something to our viewers.
Yeah, so you know, my experience with Drive for Mentoring has been a really positive one, and you know, I would recommend that everyone should look at the opportunity to either share their expertise and, you know, their knowledge and wisdom with other women through the process of being a mentor, or, you know, I would absolutely recommend that people should sign up to become a mentee, because it's definitely been a really life-changing experience for me. I've met some wonderful people, and I feel part of a really nice community. So I can only highly recommend Thrive with Mentoring.
Great. Okay, so we sign off on that. Thank you all for being part of this. Thanks a lot, Michelle, for being part of this and for being the first guest on our show. I
Okay,
loved having this chat with you, and all the best in
thank you
everything.
for having me. It's been lovely to talk to
Yep.
you.
Here's what I feel about this conversation with you. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.